The United Nations highest court has just hours ago, ordered Russia to end its deadly war operations in Ukraine. The 13-2 vote called on the Russian Federation to immediately suspend military operations. The two votes against Russia and China. After that vote, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy took to Twitter calling on Russia to comply immediately. The question now, what could actually make Vladimir Putin comply, and how can he be held accountable for those war crimes? Harold Ko is an international law professor at Yale Law School and was part of the group of lawyers arguing on behalf of Ukraine against Russia in the court last week, delivering those closing arguments. Harold, so glad you're back. You were with us yesterday. As you know, we are very, Terry and I, passionate about this war crimes issue and where exactly it can go. Because if you look at history, this could be a very tough haul. The vote in the International Court of Justice, it's definitely a major win for Ukraine. But, Harold, some may argue it's mostly symbolic. So does this have any teeth?
Well, you know, that's like saying that when the Supreme Court of the United States ordered Richard Nixon to turn over the tapes, it was largely symbolic. It's a ruling of law. No court has enforcement authority, but what it does is it has the ability to brand somebody's actions as illegal, make them a pariah, and make them isolated. That's exactly what President Zelenskyy says, is this dramatically weakens President Putin's bargaining position. And I think most important, a 13-2 vote will make the Chinese feel very skeptical about whether they really want to side with Putin unequivocally going forward, because to do so associates themselves with that level of equality. So this was a victory for international law. It's only an important first step, but it was not a close case. It was 13-2 with only the Russian and the Chinese judge dissenting. And it's an important step, as you say, on the way to further isolating Putin, driving him into negotiations with a relatively weak hand and strengthening the case for more sanctions and more accountability against him for the war crimes that he's committing every day.
Branding him an outlaw. What, if any, are the consequences here if Putin does not comply, Harold?
Well, for the first of all, they can now take this order to the political branches of the UN. They can take it to the Security Council and argue that the Russians should not be allowed to participate in the vote because they're a disputant to a party to the dispute. If the Russians do vote and try to veto it, that could be the basis for a special session of the UN General Assembly, where under the Uniting for Peace resolution, they've acted only a few weeks ago. So they could embody this order of the court into an order of the UN General Assembly. That could be the basis of the insertion of a peacekeeping force, which would then be able to monitor a ceasefire as well as a humanitarian corridor on the ground. So this is an important opening. You know, Kira, the way to think about this is the way that you think about a fight against cancer. If it doesn't kill you in the first go, if you can survive, then chemotherapy and other kinds of stronger working solutions can act. So it needs the Ukrainian people to survive on the ground, and then for law to work through its processes to isolate the disease, which here is Putin's aggression and atrocities.
So with that said, what are the next steps here?
I think the obvious next steps are to go to the political branches. I think the further step is to say to the Chinese, this has been branded now illegal. Are you really going to be supporting him, or are you going to just let him or advise him to enter into negotiations and to try to find a ceasefire and a way out? What we're looking for is something like what happened at Dayton to end the Bosnian conflict. There, the leaders, Milosevic and Karadzic, of the Serbs and the Bosnian Serbs, made the deal which made the peace, which has endured, but they didn't buy for themselves immunity, and both of them ended up at the War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague. Milosevic died, but Karadzic is now in prison for the rest of his life.
And this shall continue. We'll follow every step along the way with you, Professor Harold Hongju Ko. We appreciate your time today.
My pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.